Hello ladies, welcome to another new episode of Alive. We are on episode 4 and I am so excited because 4 is the number of creativity. It evokes creativity and this is a place where every woman feels alive. This platform is dedicated to women like you and women like me who are tuned in to get value for their time. And for these ladies, I say asante sana. All we're doing on this show is giving priority on matters of interest to women all over the world. Yes, you who is tuned in on today's show from thy local hometown to international zones. Karibu tena, I am your host, Wilma Mwangi, all the way to the top. I know, ladies, we have been having conversations about financial freedom, how we will attain it, and we are going to be discussing some of the ways we are going to attain this financial freedom. And some of the ways we can talk about is through investments or savings. We are going to put our money where our mouth is. And ladies, I know a fair share of us have had this famous quote from Benjamin Franklin, and I quote, "The best investment is in the tools of one's trade." So on today's episode, I will be sharing more on the critical topic of investment and investment planning, why we should do it, how you should do it, and we are all looking forward to attaining this financial freedom. So by this, we need to be able to live a life in our own terms, head high, stress-free, and all skin glowing, as we had talked about on episode 2 of Alive. And the true definition of a lady in victory every day is supposed to have a financial goal. So yes, let's dive in, shall we? Another famous and common quote that goes, "The first step towards living a great life is by having to dream about the life you want." However, dreams are useless if you do not have a definite plan to put into them. As I had said, ladies, you need to have a financial goal. A dream cannot come true if you do not have a strategy in place so that you can get there. And I understand how many of us keep craving for that day when our financial plans and spending patterns will not be limited to the situations of economic scarcity and inadequacy, especially during this time of COVID-19. Some of us are struggling because either they have lost their job, and we all can't wait for that day when we can get what we want, ladies. You can be able to go on a trip to Dubai. Who wouldn't want that? We all want that financial independence. Inaitwa kujipanga, my friends. So remember, ladies, before we ever get to that point we deeply crave for, we have to put in the work. Effort is inevitable. We all cannot wait for that day when we can get what we want, when we want it, and how we want it. All simply because we can afford it. So this kind of freedom, ladies, inaitwa kujipanga. Remember, before we get to that point we deeply crave for, we have to put in the work, and the effort is inevitable. In order for us to have the things others won't have tomorrow, we must do today what others are not willing to do. Meaning, you got to sacrifice your comfort zone now in favor of your comfort zone tomorrow. So every sacrifice is worth considering. Every step you take is a milestone for you. So just the same way as how success in our other areas of life is governed by a set of rules, because ladies, in order for life to have meaning and order, there must be rules. The same applies to investments. Here are some of the critical guidelines for a successful investment path that will guarantee you financial freedom. The number one rule of financial management states that each one of us has to be proactive rather than reactive with our finances. Being proactive with your finances generally means focusing on controlling and preventing unnecessary stressful situations rather than responding to them once they've already happened. We have been in one of these stressful situations because we have been reactive with your finances, and this includes impulse spending. And without having a financial goal, you are exercising little or no control over the direction of your financial future. With that in mind, it is important to define what your financial goals are. Ladies, we had said lazima tujipange, and a financial goal is a definite target that you have set for yourself, either when it comes to saving, spending, or even investing your money. About having a goal. This is important and it will guide you. Be it starting or growing a business or buying a home, you need to think about what is important to you and be able to decide early enough so that you can be able to categorize your investment on a short-term, mid-term, or long-term objective. It is important for ourselves to have a guide in order to help us know where we are going. When it comes to finances, it's like riding a bike. You are the rider. Whenever you are gearing your bike to a different direction, that is where the bike is going to go. What are you trying to achieve with these investments? How will you define success? And ladies, we need to get to understand that a financial goal will help us to dictate how much we need to start saving or investing. We are able to quantify our ambitions by having a goal. You can also be able to shape your decision making when it comes to your career. If you're not satisfied, start an entirely new business that will help you grow your finances. And also, will it help you stay focused and keep your mind on the prize? It's always about the prize when it comes to your financial goal. Over to you, ladies. Do you have a financial goal? If yes, kudos for the good work and the focus. If not, then this is a time to write out a plan. It will be a guide on how you can be able to get there. I'd love to hear some of your financial goals that you are working on, especially during this period of quarantine. I hope you ladies are having a plan, whether it's saving for your child's education, creating a fund to start or expand your business. It's all about diversifying your investment options. Assuming we have already identified our financial goals, we are working to attain these financial goals. What are some of the options that we have available so that we can be able to reach that level? And ladies, can you imagine having to build your wealth without necessarily spending a lot of time on it? And I have coined up a phrase for it, and I called it the passive investment approach. This is whereby you are involving an agency or a share brokerage investor so that they could be able to manage your investment on your behalf. And some of these investment options may include collection of stocks, bonds, and other securities. We understand that investing is a way to potentially increase the amount of money you have. So when you purchase these financial products, what are we expecting from it? We are expecting financial gain, and that is the core aspect of investment. So while selecting an investment avenue, you have to match your own risk profile with the associated risk of the product before investing. And we will be talking shortly about risks investments. So there are some investments that carry high risks, but others have the potential also to carry low risks. And the higher the risks, the greater the returns. So the specific passive investment options I want us to discuss today are what are known as the mutual funds. And this can be categorized into equity funds and also the fixed income funds. In the equity funds, we are investing in stocks. We are generally buying shares in companies that have been listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. which then entitles you to be part of the organization earnings. This makes you a shareholder, and these companies normally sell shares to raise money for either starting a new project or growth, and this gives you the opportunity to invest in that company. So stock investors make money when they are able to sell that stock for a profit or when the company pays them dividends. As a rule of thumb, buy stocks you can fairly expect to increase in value later. The best way to approach this situation is to look at the company's stock value and combine it with the future expectations in earnings. But ladies, do not worry, because the best part of this is that your portfolio manager is usually well experienced to advise you on stocks with greater returns based on his market analysis. So meaning you do not have to worry much about how to select the company shares to invest in, because your portfolio manager has it all under control. I know you ladies are wondering how you can start buying or selling these shares. So to begin with, you as an investor need what is called a CDS account, meaning a central depository and settlement account. Once you have this CDS account, you are able to buy and sell shares wherever you are. A CDS account is similar to your savings account, where your cash savings are stored. So for starters, you can just walk into your bank and ask more about how you can be able to open a CDS account and start trading. You will be good to go, ladies. Or you can also do this through an authorized stock brokerage firm. The other category, ladies, under the mutual funds, as I had mentioned to us earlier, is the fixed income funds. Investing in fixed interest generating securities like corporate bonds, government securities, and treasury bills fall under this category. So these are considered a more stable investment compared to stocks, because they usually provide a steady flow of income. But because they are more stable, the long-term return probably will be less compared when you're investing in stocks. The interest is generally paid to investors in regular installments, either typically once or twice a year. That's why you're getting a steady flow of income. So before you get to make a decision, you need to be able to do your market research. For example, you need to invest in a company whose business model and industry you understand. You need to be able to evaluate the financial health of the company and study the financial statements so that you can be able to know whether the company you have invested in is growing or not. Does the company have any debt? This will determine how much dividends you are getting as an investor. And also, ladies, you need to be able to check the price of their stock so that you can be able to know how much you are investing in that particular share. So ladies, we have our investment options outlined. Now we need to be able to assess the level of risk surrounding that investment. So risk is the possibility that your investment will lose money in terms of profitability. This can be due to either market risks or inflation. You cannot really eliminate risk, but you can manage it by holding a diverse portfolio of financial products. Risk management is a must. A soldier normally prepares and trains for worst case scenarios. So should you as an investor. As an investor should always be well prepared for hard times and plan for worst market downturns. This would enable you to absorb the shock whenever such happens. So this is illustrated by the kind of market instability that we have witnessed during this pandemic period. But the thing is, never approach risk with a negative attitude. Always approach it with a positive attitude, because we as ladies in victory, every day we become what we think about often. And what should always dominate our thoughts is victory, ladies. Victory. Remember, with risk comes potential for return. So ladies, I believe you must have heard about the saying, the higher the risk, the greater the yield return or loss. I want us to share more about the various categories of risks. Actually, there do exist 3 categories of risks. There exists a low risk investment, which offers stability and security, but in theory, because the risk is less, the size of the return will also be less. So the interest rates are usually around 1 to 5% annually, and this may include cash or government bonds or even money markets. The second involves the medium risk investments. So this type of investments usually are around 5 to 12% interest, and this medium risk investors often diversify their investments by investing in a wide range of financial products while still trying to maximize on their returns. This might include shares shares, property, or even stocks. The third category includes the high-risk investments. These are investors with a high-risk appetite and they want to achieve the biggest returns as possible. And more importantly, they can also afford to take more risk. So if successful, you can get a return of 10 to 30%, which is actually a very, very, very good deal. So ladies, at this point, we have talked about investments and the particular investment options that are available to each one of us. So I know you're wondering, how much would I expect to earn from the investments that we have talked about? So for this kind of investments, the more time duration it takes to mature, the more the yield. Meaning, for example, if you have invested in a financial product of 30,000 per month over a period of 3 years versus an investor who has invested in 30,000 shillings over a 5-year period monthly with the same interest rate offer at the beginning of the investment period, the one with the 5-year term will yield more returns. So the concept here worth taking note is patience, ladies, patience. And as we say, patience is not just a girl's name, it is a virtue. When you see that your investment account went up over a period of time, it is because of two things that might have happened to your assets. And that is either your income was paid on the investment in form of bond interest when we are talking about fixed income funds, or as stock dividends. We have also talked about investing in shares. So a stock investor will receive dividends and a person who has invested in the fixed income fund will receive a bond interest. And the second thing to note is that investments that you are still holding went up in value. In most instances, your investment account goes up because of the investments within the account. Either your stock or mutual funds or your bonds value has gone high. Bila shaka, ladies, we have talked about what are some of your financial goals that you should outline. We have also talked about some of the investment options that are available to you. We have also talked about assessing the level of risks around your investment and also how much to expect or earn from your investment. So with all this, it all narrows down to one critical element called time. Time is an investor's best friend. Time is money. Did you know that if you invest with a 1-year horizon, you approximately have a 33% probability of losing money? And if you invest with a 5-year horizon, there's an approximately 8% probability of losing money. And also, if you invest with a 10-year horizon, the probability of losing money would be approximately 3%. And if you invest with over 15-year horizon, there would be an approximate 0% probability of losing money. You can see, ladies, how the more time you take on an investment, the higher the yield. So Warren Buffett said, nobody wants to get rich slow. And this time, there's so many people who are going towards the get rich quick schemes, which is driven by the need to have a higher purchasing power, whether it's getting a brand new car or a brand new house, which, ladies, I am not against it, but we have to take time with our investments. We can give them time to grow. We have talked about investments and the key elements when it comes to investing. So what are the advantages of this model in summary? It's a very practical saving model in the sense that you are getting a direct debit from your personal bank account, let us say, directly to your investment account. So I find it the most practical and reasonable way. So this means there's profit to be earned. We have talked about the aspect of interest on your investment and also the passive nature of some of these investment options like the mutual funds. We have talked about them not requiring much of your physical presence to watch over the investment growth because there is always a financial advisor or an investment manager who is holding your hand through your investment process. And it gives you lots of flexibility in terms of the minimum amounts needed to start investing. And we have talked about the minimum contribution being 1,000 shillings. This allows you to adjust your investment also in the event that you wish to either increase the value of your investment over time. This is such an amazing concept when it comes to investing, and I hope you have learned a great deal of tips and elements that involves investments. So ladies, we have come to the end of the show, and I thank you so much for taking part in this amazing broad topic of investments. And I'm so excited because there's also part 2 to come. So yes, this is just part 1, and I will be able to release part 2. It's a surprise for you ladies. I wouldn't want to share so much about part 2 because I want you to invest also in your time to listen to what I have to say regarding investments. There's so much to be covered in this specific episode. So we had talked about the number 4 evoking creativity. So this has evoked so much creativity in me, and it's also improving my sense of investments. We shall be talking about some of the investment options that I have taken. So yes, stay tuned. Yes, you can catch me on my Twitter account at AlivePodcast1 and on Instagram at AlivePodcast. And I will be sharing some more details also on my YouTube channel account. And I would like you guys to like, share, retweet, comment. I would want to hear some of the investment questions that you have for me. So thank you so much. Nashukuru sana because you have also invested your time. I will leave it at that, and I wish to see you on part 2 of Investments with Alive. So take care and have a blessed week. May Jah's providence fill and bless you throughout the week.